What is up, everybody? It is officially Boxing Day, so happy holidays. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas, good holiday season. Hopefully you guys are still spending time with family and friends. I wanted to give you guys an update because I've got a little bit of free time here, and it's a little bit different of an update where we're actually going to look at real numbers, like the last couple of months of what's been going on with the 15-unit apartment building that myself and my partner right down here acquired. That's the building. At the very beginning of July, end of June of this year. So we've only had the property now for going on 5 months, but we have done so much, and I have to give flowers to my partner, who basically manages the asset itself. I'm there, I go there, I help out, I do things, but he's really the one that is dealing with the tenants on a day-to-day or weekly basis whenever he gets calls and contractors, that sort of stuff. I do small bits of things, but in all honesty, he has been the one that's been really driving the speed in which this stuff has been going on. So I got to give a shout-out to my partner. Anyway, let's jump into the numbers. Last video I updated you guys on, we were at the end of renovations for a one-bedroom unit that got vacant. We ended up paying for the tenant to leave. He was having problems in the building anyway, and he completely ruined the entire unit. Ripped up floors. I mean, the videos are there. Like, if you guys go to the previous videos, you'll be able to see it. But we gutted that unit. I think it cost us around 17 grand for everything. So that's labor, all new appliances, a whole bunch, everything. New bathroom, new kitchen, new floors, paint, you name it. The cigarette smell, all that stuff was nasty. It took some time, took some labor, but we got there. And now we have a tenant living there. It's been living there for since the beginning of November, and they love it. So it's great. We were getting $800 a month all included before. So that's like heat, water, electricity, the rent, you name it, it's there. Laundry, free laundry, everything was there for $800 a month. And I do believe right now it's renting for I think it was $17.50, I want to say. But now they have laundry in their own unit. They still have heat that's included, but they pay their own power, and we pay the water. So yeah, so basically they have heat and the rent, but now they have a laundry in their unit along with new everything. They have a dishwasher, which wasn't there before, new bathroom, new kitchen, so on and so forth. And they love it. It's great. It worked out, and that added quite a bit of NOI or income for us that we will basically get back after just over a year of owning the property and collecting those rents based on how much the renovation costs. But we'll get into the numbers now. So this right here, this statement is actually from October. And then I'm going to show you guys last month, which was November, even though we're into December. I won't have December's until the beginning of January. So this was with 2 vacant units. Now, theoretically, one was actually vacant. That's the unit that we were doing all of our renovations on. And the other one, we did cash for keys. So essentially what that means is there was a tenant that they were interested in moving, but they needed an incentive. So we gave one. We offered 3 months free rent, and then at the end of the 3 months, then they would have to move out. Obviously, they have to sign certain paperwork and that sort of thing so that it's legally binding. They did that. So with that being said, this was their last month of free rent. So even though they were living there, we didn't actually collect any rent for that month because it was part of the deal, and then they moved out at the end of October. So theoretically, 2 units we weren't collecting rent for. So we're going to look into this. So rent collected was $18,445. We have no other means of collecting income in this building yet. So again, our laundry room, which is open to everybody, is free. There's no coin-operated stuff in there. The last landlord didn't want it. And we can't just put it in there because in a lot of the leases, it comes with. So we can't just go in and put coin-operated and then have our tenants pay for laundry when we have to honor the original contracts and the leases that they have. So there's a few dollars that we make in late fees and stuff, but this entire building, everybody pays on time. So we didn't actually collect any late fees or anything like that. And there's no other, extra parking fees, that sort of stuff. We don't have any of that. So our mortgage payment is $10,031.06. That doesn't change. So that's for the 15-unit building. We had $200 in common area cleaning. And then we have the garbage bill, which was $1,400. Essentially, when you're 6 units and above, you have to have large bins, and the garbage comes and collects those specific bins. Instead of having all the garbage put out on the side of the road, you basically have them dumped, and that's an expense that you have to pay as the owner of the building. So that's the garbage expense, and that comes every 2 months. So yeah. So then we had some repairs for unit 2, 8, 14, and 15, which was just under $1,400. So these were just miscellaneous things. Again, we went around to each unit, asked if there were any lingering maintenance, that sort of stuff, and we started tackling those sort of things. And this is just the repairs so that's labor and parts. I think some of them were fixtures. I think we needed a new sink in one. New locks on doors because we had some unit turnover, just those types of things. Then it's sort of going into the beginning of winter, so we had to prepare our furnace, propane system, that sort of stuff. So in this building, it's propane heat. So the propane refill and to restart the furnace was $2,400. The restart, there's a little bit of extra charge, about $1,000 to have a technician come in, make sure everything is working well. Usually when these things are off for the season, some things seize up, you know what I mean? Just like maintenance stuff that happens on these large buildings. And then there was a repair that needed to be done on one of the motors. So that cost us $1,657. We did a leasing promo, which was $100. That's basically just paying for, SEO, essentially, ads. We have an intercom system, which was $153. That comes out every 3 months. And that basically it's like a phone bill that you get for when people want to buzz in and buzz out. It's a security feature so that nobody can just walk in and out of the building, that sort of stuff. So the total operational costs was $17,342. So that totaled our cash flow for the building, $1,102.27. So as you can see, like the cash flow wasn't huge, but remember, we have 2 units that we weren't collecting rent for. And then on top of that, we had some expenses that normally wouldn't happen, like, replacing a motor. That doesn't happen every single month. And that really doesn't happen every year. It just so happened that we had to do it that time. This thing does happen, and you'll see this in the next one. The propane refill we have to do every month during the winter. But the restart, so it's about $1,000 less. And then, there's just miscellaneous repairs. And you know what? Since owning this building, there's typically something that happens. And you'll see a little bit more. Accidents happen. Shit happens. The building's a little bit older. We just acquired it, so there was some deferred maintenance. We've tackled a lot of it early on, but these things keep coming up over time. So $1,102. I know what you guys are probably thinking. That's not a lot of money, but hey, we're in the green, and that's the main thing, right? So we go down here, and we look at this last month, okay? So as you can see now, the September rent collected is $21,537.50, and this is with all units filled. So as you can see, it was $18,445. Now we've already come up to $21,537.5. So yeah, that one tenant moved out with the cash for keys. We got a new tenant in at market rents, and then we also filled that new unit at the new rents as well. We're going to take a look now at our expenses. Mortgage payment doesn't change, still the $10,031. Common area doesn't change, $200. Common area for the power. So this is the hallways, the emergency lights, the exterior lights, all that stuff. The power bill comes out every 2 months, and that was $565. And then we have all the power bills that came out for all of the units. Now, the great thing is when we first acquired this asset, like I said before, the landlord paid for everybody's power, paid for everybody's heat, paid for everybody's water, paid for everybody's laundry. Okay. He owned the building for 30 years. So, he didn't really care too much about the overhead. And these are the types of buildings that you want to buy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of turnover. It's a lot of manpower to get it to where you want to get it. But when you have the team, you have the time, and you have the money, this is where the money is made in these larger multifamily properties. So our bill for all of the units was $1,305. The good news is we were paying all 15 when we first acquired it. Now we're only paying for 6. So we managed to turn over 9 units in 5 months, a little less than 5 months. And this is only for the 6 units. So before, our power bill was much higher because we were paying for everybody's power, but now we're not paying for 9 of the units. So that's really, really good. The water bill for the entire building, this comes out every 3 months, is $1,269. When we did the renovations, a mistake, an accident happened in the back when they were moving out old appliances, and they cracked the back window of the emergency exit door. We didn't want to leave that because the wintertime, right? The cracks start spreading, and it can be bad, and it's dangerous. So we had to get that repaired. That was $1,120. And then there's our propane delivery for this month. So $939. Remember, last month it was significantly more. It was $24.15 because we had to do the whole maintenance thing. So that's gone down. And then we had a water leak. Unit 12, 7, and 2, there was an incident that we had to do. And I can actually show you guys a video of this. Let me show you right here. So as you can see, there's water pouring down. And it was getting pretty bad. Managed to have a tenant call relatively quick. Essentially what happened is a tenant on the top floor mistakenly left their sink on and plugged, and it overflowed, essentially. Once the water started leaking down to the floor underneath them, they gave us a call, and we were out there right away. Fortunately, there wasn't any major damage. We had to get a few dehumidifiers. So we had to get 3 of those, put those in each thing, clean up. We had to cut out a little bit of drywall and do a bit of patchwork. But it really didn't cost that much. It was $1,324. No electrical stuff got ruined or anything along those lines. So we kind of lucked out, but that was, again, another error, right? So like right here alone, you're looking at $2,500 in just miscellaneous repairs that we didn't account for. That just happens in these sort of things. So our total operational costs was $16,745. We had to finish the renovation payment to the contractor. The reason why we didn't pay it the previous month is because they did a really bad job at our bathroom renovation when it came to the tub. So as you can see, this tub was put in terribly. Like, there's exposed screws. This stuff is like, it just wasn't done right. So we weren't paying them the rest. Like, we obviously have to put a certain amount of money in, and then we do the remainder at the end. So anyway, once the owner of this crew saw the work, he obviously said, yeah, this is unacceptable. So he went in himself and redid it, and it looks infinitely better. So we went with tile, got it properly done. This isn't even it fully finished. I do have a video of that right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's all. Yeah, actually, you can kind of see it here, but it's way nicer, right? It's done correctly. It's sealed correctly. So that got done, and then once that got finished, we ended up paying him the rest of the money that was contractually owed. And then we had garbage removal as well for all of the renovations. Like, we ripped out cabinets, all that stuff. So we had to get the garbage removed. So this month, or I guess in November, we actually were negative. We were negative $3,667. This was our first like negative month for this specific asset. But remember, this was because of an $8,000 renovation that we had to pay out. And then we had these other two big things as well. So, I mean, in theory, there's about $10,000 worth of stuff that normally wouldn't happen, but this is part of the game, and we paid for that. But here's the cool thing about this asset is we actually own 4 duplexes as well, which is 8 units that we have bundled sort of in with this asset. So they kind of work together. The bank like that. We have separate mortgages. They're separate things altogether, but they kind of work together to help each other out, so to speak, when it comes to cash flow and evaluation, when it comes to what the bank is willing to sort of give us here. So let's go take a look at the 8-unit building. Now, for those that don't know, the 8-unit building purchased about 3 years ago now. Actually, it was 3 years back in last month. We actually bought these 4 duplexes. This was the first deal that my partner and I had done together. And there were 4 duplexes all right beside each other. And we did serious renovations on these, right? We paid just over $1 million for the 4 of them. And as you can see, we had to build these bridges. They were old concrete bridges. We did all new siding. We got some new shingles on some of them. All new windows, back stairs as well. And this doesn't even go into all the renovations that we did inside as well, right? Like they were in, rough shape. So we did all this, and this took us 2 years and 3 months. Once we did 2 years, 3 months, we got it reevaluated, and it came back at $2.16 million or something along those lines. So we made, in terms of like sweat equity, we turned over all 8 units. We made, just over $1 million, I guess, after fees and whatnot. So what we did is we did a cash out refinance. We pulled that money out, and then we purchased this 15-unit building with that money, which was great. So we're doing the same thing. That's called a BRRRR strategy. We're doing the same thing with this 15-unit building. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because we've already pulled out all of our money and some. So we have $0 in that 8-unit building, and this is how it's performing after we took out more debt, pulled out our money, and now it's operating as normal, which we're just going to and hold it for, the next decade plus, right? As the building starts being paid down and rents slowly go up year over year, that sort of thing. So here it is for November for the 8-unit. Total income was $14,372. Our mortgage payment is $83.26, and we had to pay water bills for all 8 units, and then our insurance payment. That was it. We had no maintenance. We had no weird stuff that went on. It was just a clean, smooth month. And our total operational expenses was $10,242. We brought in $14,000 and some change. So our cash flow was $4,130. So if you take the $4,130 and then you take the negative $36.67 from the 15 unit, for the 23 units, we're actually still plus $462. It's nothing to write home about. I get it. But remember, we got a lot of renovations done. We did a lot of value add on the 15 unit. And we had sort of a rough month with maintenance stuff that just, normally doesn't happen on that level, but it happened. So we were still positive. And remember, for both these assets, the tenants are still paying the mortgage. So there's a big chunk of that is going directly to the principal. And of course, the properties go up in value year over year. And we're also forcing the value to go up as well on these properties by doing strategic renovations, getting rents to market level, and just adding value to the building. So there is that. Now we go down to what our plan is and sort of what we've managed to do so far. So the 15-unit building, when we purchased it July 1st, it was only bringing in $17,151 a month. So that's all of the rents. So when you do the math, it's like, maybe $1,100-ish per unit. That was on average. Plus, we were paying 15 of the power bills. In fact, we were paying 16 power bills because we had a common one, for the hallways and the exterior lights and stuff. Now, come January 1st, 2026, which is we're a week away, less than, our income will be $21,800. So last month it was $21,537. We just had a tenant move out this month and a new one move in. We did renovations there, small renovations, and the rent went up closer to market. Still a little bit less, but closer to market. So that's actually going to bump us up for January 1st for $21,800. So what we've managed to do, so between the two, right, we've added $4,649 a month in rental income from those 9 turnovers that we've had since we've owned the property less than 5 months ago. And 9 of the 15 power bills is off of us. So that saves us right now $5,000 a year, which is about $416 a month in power savings. So all of this stuff really matters because when it comes to large buildings like this and commercial real estate or commercial residential, it's all about the NOI, the net operating income, all right? Not gross, but net, right? So this is your income minus your expenses, and it doesn't take into consideration your mortgage payment. I can go over cap rates, capitalization rates in another video. I don't want this video to be super dense. I just want you guys to get a quick rundown on what we've been doing and sort of our plan. But if there's certain things and topics that you guys want me to talk about, leave them in the comment section below, because I know some of this is going to go over your guys' heads if you don't know sort of the lingo and the different strategies and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going to keep moving here. So 5,000. So between the two, right, the $46.49 and the $416, we're already saving, or we've already added, I should say, $5,065 a month in extra income, which is $60,788 a year. Now, why is that so important? Is because when you take into consideration cap rates, now when we got this building, they evaluated it at a 5 cap, which is a 5 capitalization rate. Again, I'm not going to go over what a cap rate is, but essentially it's a way to determine what a building is worth based off the return you would get if you bought the building in cash, right? Because everybody's different. I may have, like when we bought this, we put 31 or 29% down. Somebody may only have to put 25% down. Somebody may put 50% down. Some people may buy it in cash. So there's no way to really know what each individual strategy is or how much money people are putting in. So they do cap rate based off of if you were just buy the building in cash. So at a 5 cap, we have added, right, $1,215,000 and $215,760 in value to the building, just because of this $60,788 a year in added income, in net operating income that we've added. And you can do that by adding value, so bringing in more rents, or you can do it also by bringing down your expenses, which is what we've done via the 9 power bills, right? And we still have more to go, but it's you can't just go and buy a building and kick people out, you know what I mean? Nor we ever want to do that. So what we have to do is you have to speak to each tenant, see if they're happy where they're at. Maybe they want to move to a different unit. Maybe they have a 2-bedroom, they want to go down to a 1-bedroom. Maybe there's a 1-bedroom, want to go up to 2-bedroom. Maybe they want specific upgrades. Maybe they just want to leave, We've had like 3 units out of the 9 we turned over that just wanted to go because of new management, right? New owners. They didn't know what was going to go on, and they took the opportunity to leave. The other cool thing about this is the previous seller, so the seller that sold us the building, he still owns 2 other buildings, and he also told all of the tenants on his way out that if they want to keep renting from him, when he has openings in his other buildings, he will take them and put them in there and they can live in that building. And then we had 3 other tenants that ended up doing that. So when he had stuff open, he presented it to these tenants because he knew them, for some of them, for decades. So he knew what they were all about. They got along, all that stuff. So they were more than happy to go somewhere else. And so we're happy that they wanted to go, because it allowed us to go in and do renovations and get things up to market rents or close to market rents once we were done those. So it was a win-win. I know this doesn't happen for a lot of investors, that you're going to have a seller that's willing to do these types of things. But he did for us, which is great. And we're actually planning on purchasing 28 more units from him in the beginning of 2027. So we're going to take this next year to continue to add value here, and then do a cash out refinance, and then purchase some other buildings from him. Back to the cap rate. So the $60,788 it basically adds $1,215,760 to the value of the building. At a 5.5 cap, it's 1.1 million, and then at a 6 cap, it's 1 million. So, right when we bought it, it was valued at a 5 cap. I like to go worst case scenario. Maybe they only give it to us at a 6 cap when we go to do a cash out refinance. So, what does this mean? Well, we can take out 70% of this next evaluation. So this added value or equity into the building. We're able to pull out 70% of that, right? And then they want us to keep in 30% of that equity in there, just in case we ever defaulted or the bank needs to take over. They'd be able to sell and get their money back. And again, we're not planning on doing a cash out refinance right now. I'm just kind of showing you guys the value we've already added in this period of time. In another 18 months to 2 years, we should be able to turn over probably another 4-ish units. Some of them, we have a few tenants there that have been there for a long time. They don't want to move. Totally fine. We knew this going in, that it would take 5 to 6 years before we could get the full building to its maximum potential. But we're overjoyed with how fast things have been moving and the value that we've already added already. And, if it takes a little bit longer, then, hey, so be it. That's totally fine. We'll only be able to raise their rents 5% each year. And we still have a few tenants in the building that are really, really low rents. So even at 5% more, their rents are going up like $50, $60 in a year, which we all know, like with inflation, like just insurance alone, maintenance, snow removal, all that stuff, it goes up more than 5% a year. But that's totally fine. Like, that's what we signed up for, and that's part of the play here, and that's where the money is made over long periods of time. This stuff typically doesn't happen the way that it's happened for us so far. So when we go to a 70% loan to value LTV at a 5 cap, the bank will give us $851,000, and then at a 6 cap, $709,000. Right? I put in $500,000. My partner put in a little bit less than that. And those proceeds came from that 8 unit that I told you before. So we project that we're going to get this building into a place in the next 18 months where we're going to be able to go to the bank and do a reappraisal and do a cash out refinance with a 70% LTV. Now, I actually believe it'll be more than this when the time comes. My guess is, and it's a guess, we'll probably be able to pull out 1.1-ish out of the property, maybe 1.2. That's my guess. And if that's the case, then again, we will have no money in the deal. Obviously, our mortgage payments, when you pull out more debt, your mortgage payments are going to go up, right? Like our mortgage payment right now is $10,000. That mortgage payment might go up to, $13,000, right? Depending on what the interest rate is. But also the other thing that we have to take into consideration is our tax bill. So when you buy a property, at least here, it takes about 2 years. Sometimes you get lucky and it's 3, but it's usually 2 years before the government essentially, or the city, reevaluates the property, and then your taxes will go up. So we're expecting to be spending an extra $1,000 a month in added tax in about another year and 8 months, right? So we're going to have that expense as well. So really, when we pull out another, say, 1.1 or 1.2, our new bill with taxes might be $16,000 a month, right? But again, right now we're pulling in 21,800, and by the time that comes, it should go up considerably. Now, we've done the math, and we should be projected in the next 2 to 3 years of total income of $315,000 a year. So that's like all your rents, that stuff. That is not net. So that is not like, we still have all those expenses. And it seems like on average right now, our expenses are about $15,000 a month. That's sort of where we're at. That's going to come down some when the power bills become off our hands and we start, adding more things to bring in a little bit more revenue. But remember, taxes will go up. Eventually, we'll do a cash out refinance. Our mortgage payments will go up. So yeah, overall, things are going very, 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 very well. We did have something that popped up here on the 8 unit that it just came to my attention yesterday, which is right. Let's see here, right here. Yeah, this was one of the gutters. Like, we knew about an issue up here when we bought it. One of the gutters completely ripped off, and then it just rotted out all of this stuff. So once we took off the plates, I don't know if you guys like this stuff up here, it was all rotten underneath there. So they're fixing that now. I think it's already all fixed. So yeah, all of this stuff, and then we had some furnace issues. Like, we're going to be looking at about $4,000 bill this month on unforeseen things that happened at that 8 unit, right? But remember, we looked at this before, and the 8 unit cash flowed $4,000, right? $4,100. So like, the cash flow will still take care of it, but I just want you guys to understand that just because you own these assets and it theoretically makes more money than what it brings in after all expenses, maintenance happens. Shit happens. Like, somebody leaves their faucet on. Somebody, breaks a back window. Stuff happens, and you have to be prepared for it. We have reserves, and we have strong cash flow to make up for sort of the bad months. We don't live off of this money. As of right now, especially when you first are buying these assets, we dump everything right back into it, like all of it. Even that 8 unit building that we've now owned for over 3 years, I haven't seen any of the cash flow from that in 3 years, but we managed to pull out all of my equity and some from the cash out refinance, and that'll be the same with this. So in about 18 months, I'll be able to pull out my $500,000 plus probably another $200K. It might be $600,000 from my cut, and then my partner will get probably $500,000 as well. And that's, of course, it's tax-free because it's debt. It's not income. So, you don't have to recapture that until you either sell the property. Until you sell the property. So, yeah, and we're not selling it. So, yeah, when we get that large chunk of money out here in about 18 months, that's when we will go and buy those other 28 units and basically just keep recycling, right? And just get more and more assets and, keep building sort of the portfolio and the cash flow over time. And then eventually be able to, sit back and say, hey, this building's bringing in $5,000 a month. This building's bringing in $10,000 a month. This building's bringing in $2,000 a month. And these sort of things add up over time. I've been doing this now for over 9 years. I'm going on 10 years in 2026. Actually, it's been 10 years this year. So yeah, I'll be going on 11 years in November of 2026. So, it took a long time for me to get to this place where I'm able to acquire these larger multi-million-dollar assets, and not actually have multi-million dollars in them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're putting in a large chunk of money, but we have a plan to pull out that equity and some to kind of keep keep going until I'm at a place where I can live comfortably off of the cash flow and have a little bit more freedom of, instead of trading, time for dollars, I'll be able to, have dollars come in and spend my time the way I want to. That's why I'm still a full-time streamer. I in theory make money each month from real estate, but again, because of these types of things that happen, I can't rely on, $10,000 a month coming in every single month, no questions asked, that I can live off of, right? Some months it might be 3,000, some months it might be 10, some months it might be negative, right? Like, these things happen. I just want to get to a point where even when the bad months happen, there's still enough meat on the bone to take care of myself and my family. And we're just not there yet. We're getting closer. I see the light at the end of the tunnel after 10 years. And I mean, in theory, I could sell some of my assets because these are 2 of my properties. I have, duplexes, triplexes, single families, another larger building, other single family homes. Like, I have a bunch of different stuff, but again, they're small, like cash flow here. And if you guys want, I can go through all the other different assets I have and show you guys the numbers on sort of what it looks like the reality of this. It's not what people think, but it's also not as bad as what people think too. Some people think like, oh, you're a landlord, I don't want to deal with tenants, I don't want to deal with leaky faucets and toilets and complaints and people destroying things and bad like, I get it. It's not as bad as what you think it is when you have systems and you have experience. It's actually quite fulfilling to take an asset that is run down, build it back up and have a safe, good place for people to live, and do it, ethically as well. There's going to be people that watch these videos, and it happens every time I post one of these videos, and they say, oh, you're the problem. You're just a fucking slumlord. You're all this other stuff. It's quite the opposite. And I'm not going to sit here. Maybe that's a different video, a different time, a different video. But my tenants, they really appreciate me as a landlord. When something is broken or wrong, it gets remedied within 24 hours. When appliances break, I don't put in $100 used shit tier appliances. They get new stuff. They get things that they can be proud of, things that they can use with confidence. And the vast majority of my units are still under market rents. I don't even try and gouge. But clearly when it comes to getting an asset like this, and rents are really, really under, like if people are paying $800 a month, all included for a 2-bedroom with free everything, they know they're getting a good thing. And there are some landlords out there that can do that because they've owned the properties for decades and they don't have a mortgage anymore, right? They don't have the overhead. But when you go to buy these assets, you're not paying for the asset the same way that your previous seller paid for it 30 years ago. We paid almost 6 times what the last seller paid for this asset. And with that is a considerable amount of debt that you have to service, and with interest rates the way they are, it's not the cheapest thing. You can't just give people free rides. You go bankrupt. And if the seller wants to sell the building, you can't get mad at the people that are going to buy it. Believe you me, you want mom and pop owners to be running these things instead of huge conglomerates that have 30,000 units that just put you into basically a machine and you're just a number. And that's that. There's no, you're just one of many, right? So, it's a nuanced thing. I get it. Especially because of housing crisis out there and, people are struggling to even afford one property. But not everyday people buy these large buildings. I'm not going around buying a whole bunch of single family homes, right? I have a few of them, but I've had those for over a decade. One of them 6 years, but the other ones I've had for 10 years and 8 years. And I don't buy those anymore because they don't excite me anymore, right? I'm only get excited about these larger multifamily units, these assets that have deferred maintenance, not overly deferred. Like I'm not trying to buy something that's like looks like a war zone, but something that has deferred maintenance and something that has meat on the bones for me and my partner to add value so that we can capture that value, do a cash out refinance, get that money, and then rinse and repeat and do that, right? To the point where we don't have money into the deal anymore. The asset is basically running itself and the return is infinite. It's slow. This isn't a get rich quick thing. This is a get rich for sure, but over decades type thing, right? And about every 10 years, a property typically doubles in value, right? So if you buy even a single family home for $500,000 today, chances are in 10 years, it's going to be worth damn near $1 million in most markets in North America, right? There are obviously pockets, certain states, certain provinces, certain cities where that doesn't apply, but for most main areas, that's typically how it works because of inflation, because the government keeps printing dollars, because lack of supply, more immigration, more and more people coming in, and just not enough housing to house people. And when that happens, prices continue to go up. And people have been screaming bubbles. They've been saying this, dude. I remember when I bought the 8-unit building, I had people were like, "You're crazy, man. The real estate's is gonna blow up. It's gonna die, man. Everything's coming down 50%. You not remember 2008 and all this other stuff, right? When COVID happened, everything kind of boomed. And if I would have listened to the naysayers, right, that would have been $1 million less added. And this 15-unit building would not have been possible because I wouldn't have had the capital to dump into something like this, right? And that's just that building. People have been saying this for a long, long time. And at the end of the day, if everything even went down 20, 30%, it's okay. It's totally fine. It's the cash flow, the systems that we have built in place, it's fine. We weathered the storm. We just keep it moving. I'm not a flipper. I'm not buying a property today, adding $50,000 and then selling it in 6 months. That's not my game plan. My game plan is to buy specific assets, burr them, add the value, refinance, repeat, so on and so forth. Anyway, this is a 42-minute video. I can yap. I can talk about real estate all day long. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you guys watched the whole video, well, kudos to you. You guys are the real ones. Just wanted to give you guys an update, all right? Any questions at all, link will be in the description below. I'm going to be working on a community Discord all about real estate here pretty soon. And I'm also have a whiteboard coming as well, like one of those digital whiteboards, so that I can start doing some more sort of interactive number crunching and theories and different things like that. In the future. Let me know if you guys like the content. Thank you so much, guys. Again, happy holidays. Enjoy your holiday season and be safe. Don't drink and drive out there. And be good to each other. It's Christmas time. I love y'all. Have a good one. Peace out.